Good evening, and welcome to tonight's bedtime history story. Today, we are stepping into a hidden chapter of the American Revolution, George Washington's secret spy network. In the grand story of the American Revolution, people often recall the roar of cannons and the cries of battle. Yet victory was not always won on open fields. George Washington knew his Continental Army was poorly equipped, underfed, and outnumbered. A head-on clash with the British could easily mean disaster. So he turned to another battlefield, intelligence. On this silent front, no bullets flew and no swords clashed. Instead, there were invisible inks, coded messages, and ordinary men and women risking their lives under the cover of night. Together, they formed one of the earliest and most effective spy networks in history, the Culper Ring. In 1776, New York fell, and the British occupied the wealthiest port city in North America. It was not only a military stronghold, but also a hub of trade and finance. Without reliable intelligence from New York, Washington's every move risked disaster. He understood that war was not merely the clash of weapons, but also the struggle for information. For this reason, he elevated espionage to the same importance as open battle, personally overseeing the creation of a secret network he could trust. At the center of this network was Benjamin Talmadge, a young officer under Washington. Calm, intelligent, and methodical, Talmadge recruited not professional spies, but ordinary citizens, farmers, merchants, dock workers, and printers. Outwardly, they lived simple, uneventful lives. Secretly, they were Washington's eyes and ears. They used code names such as Culper Jr. and Culper Sr. Even if letters were intercepted, identities remained hidden. For these people, exposure meant only one fate, the hangman's noose. Their tools may seem simple today, but at the time they were ingenious. Washington provided a chemical formula for invisible ink. Agents would hide secret messages within ordinary letters, which could only be revealed when treated with a special reagent or heated carefully. They also relied on a code book, turning common words into numbers. Britain became 711. Washington was 745. Such methods ensured security and gave the Culper Ring a level of professionalism rare in that era. One of the most dramatic contributions of the Culper Ring was exposing Benedict Arnold's treason. Once hailed as a hero of the Continental Army, Arnold succumbed to greed and ambition, conspiring to surrender West Point to the British. The Culper spies obtained vital intelligence and relayed it to Washington in time. West Point was saved, and Arnold's plot unraveled. Had the message arrived even a little later, the revolution might have taken an entirely different turn. Among the Culper Ring's records, one figure still stirs imagination: the mysterious female agent known only as 355. She may have come from high society, or perhaps she was simply an ordinary young woman. Her advantage lay in her access to New York's social elite. In the clinking of glasses at banquets, careless words from British officers could become intelligence she carefully memorized. Some historians believe she was crucial in exposing Arnold's treason, seizing moments of casual conversation to pass vital information. Her fate remains uncertain. Some say she perished aboard a British prison ship, others that she survived and vanished into obscurity. Whatever the truth, Agent 355 endures as one of the Revolution's most haunting legends. The Culper Ring was not made of professional spies. They were farmers, merchants, fathers leading oxen home at dusk, and shopkeepers opening stalls at dawn. By day they seemed ordinary. By night they risked everything, hiding thin slips of paper in shoe soles, in bolts of cloth, even buried beneath the earth. They were not rewarded with riches, nor did they expect fame. They knew that if captured, death by hanging or the horrors of prison ships awaited. Yet through their sacrifices, America's dream of liberty found room to grow. When the war ended and victory was proclaimed, the members of the Culper Ring quietly returned to their ordinary lives. Their names never appeared in newspapers, nor were they inscribed on rolls of honor. Decades later, when historians revisited the records, people realized just how crucial this silent network had been. The CIA would later acknowledge the Culper Ring as its spiritual ancestor. Even today, when America speaks of its intelligence legacy, It traces its roots back to that small band of secret scribes who wrote freedom's future in invisible ink. History often remembers generals and politicians, but the revolution was won by countless nameless souls. The story of the Culper Ring reminds us that freedom was not won in the light of day, but purchased in the shadows, paid for with secrets, with sacrifice. And if you close your eyes and imagine a New York night in the 1770s, you might hear hurried footsteps. A farmer, a lady spy, a merchant, all clutching slips of paper filled with numbers, running toward an uncertain but hopeful future. That is the end of tonight's story. May you drift into sleep with calmness and reflection. Good night.